The encounter. In the silent vastness of deep space, the UNSS Endeavour cut through the void like a luminous arrow, a testament to human determination. At 14 kilometers long, the colony ship represented humanity's greatest engineering achievement, carrying 30,000 souls toward the Epsilon Eridani system. After 73 years of interstellar travel, they were finally approaching their destination, the promise of a new beginning. Captain Elena Reyes stood on the observation deck, her dark eyes reflecting the distant stars. At 48, she carried the weight of command with the grace of someone born for the role, though in truth, she had been born on this very ship, a second-generation traveler who had never known Earth except through holovids and stories. Captain, the voice of her first officer, Commander Jackson Wei, came through her comm unit. Long-range sensors are detecting an anomaly at the edge of the Epsilon Eridani system. Elena's posture straightened instinctively. Define anomaly. Unknown structure, Captain. Definitely artificial. Nothing like this appeared in our telescopic surveys from Earth. "I'll be right there," she said, her heart rate quickening as she moved toward the command center. The corridors of the Endeavour hummed with activity. Third-generation colonists moved about their duties, many exchanging excited whispers. News traveled fast on a ship this size, despite protocols. By the time Elena reached the bridge, the rumors had already begun. The command center was a hub of controlled chaos. Officers worked frantically at their stations, while the main view screen displayed a distant object, a massive structure that glimmered against the backdrop of space like a faceted jewel, with geometric patterns that seemed to shift and change. "Report," Elena demanded, sliding into her command chair. Dr. Aisha Okafor, the ship's chief science officer, looked up from her console. "The structure is approximately 3 kilometers in diameter, composition unknown. Its surface appears to be a lattice of some crystalline material interwoven with what seem to be circuitry pathways, but unlike any technology we've ever seen." "Is it natural?" Elena asked, though she already knew the answer. "Not a chance," Aisha replied. "It's perfectly symmetrical and emitting regular energy pulses. This is constructed technology, Captain. And it's what, Doctor?" "It's activating. Since we entered the system, energy readings have increased by 300%. I believe it's responding to our presence." A tense silence fell over the bridge. Humanity had sent countless messages into the void for centuries, but no answer had ever come. Until now. "How long until we reach minimum safe distance?" Elena asked. 19 hours at current velocity," replied Navigator Chen. Elena nodded. "Maintain course but prepare emergency maneuvers if needed. I want all department heads in the conference room in 15 minutes, and initiate First Contact Protocol Alpha." As the crew dispersed to their tasks, Elena remained in her chair, staring at the screen. First contact. The moment humanity had both yearned for and feared since they first looked up at the stars. The conference room was filled with tense energy as department heads reviewed the data. Dr. Marshall Koga, head of xenobiology, hadn't stopped pacing since he arrived. "We've trained for this," Elena reminded them. "Every person on this ship has practiced the first contact protocols." "Training is one thing, Captain," Marshall replied. "Reality is another. This is an alien intelligence that evolved completely independently from Earth. Their biology, psychology, methods of communication, everything could be fundamentally incomprehensible to us. Or they could be more like us than we imagine," countered Dr. Sanjay Mehta, the ship's historian and cultural specialist. "Convergent evolution suggests certain patterns may be universal." "Either way," Elena said firmly, "we approach with caution and openness. Our mission is to establish a colony, but this discovery changes everything. Humanity's first encounter with extraterrestrial intelligence takes priority." The meeting continued with detailed planning. Emergency protocols were updated, communication strategies discussed, and contingency plans established. By the time they adjourned, 8 hours had passed, and the alien structure was visibly larger on their view screens. Elena returned to her quarters briefly to record a message for the ship's archives. Captain's log, UNSS Endeavour, mission day 26,663. We have encountered what appears to be an artificial structure at the edge of the Epsilon Eridani system. All evidence suggests it was created by an intelligent species. After 73 years of travel, we may be about to make humanity's first contact with alien intelligence. The crew is prepared but understandably anxious. I've ordered all non-essential personnel to secure quarters and initiated First Contact Protocol Alpha. Whatever happens next will be historic. End log. She paused, then added a personal note. Dad, I wish you were here to see this. Everything you prepared me for is about to be put to the test. 12 hours later, the Endeavour had slowed to a relative crawl, matching orbit with the alien structure at a distance of 50,000 kilometers. The structure had become more active with each passing hour, lighting up with pulsing patterns that radiated outward in complex geometric sequences. It's definitely reacting to us, Aisha confirmed. The energy signatures are changing in response to our approach. And there's something else. It's emitting radiation in the electromagnetic spectrum, specifically radio waves. They're trying to communicate, Elena realized. Can we decode it? Aisha shook her head. It's not like any language we know. The patterns are mathematical, but the complexity is beyond our immediate understanding. Elena turned to Communications Officer Maya Rodriguez. Send our first contact package on all frequencies. Decades earlier, Earth had prepared comprehensive greeting messages containing basic mathematical principles, visual representations of humans, elements of language, music, and cultural information. It was humanity's hello to the stars, designed to be comprehensible to any intelligence capable of receiving it. Transmitting now, Captain, Maya confirmed. Minutes passed in tense silence. Then, the structure's pulsing patterns changed dramatically. They're responding, Maya exclaimed. The pattern has shifted to match the mathematical sequence from our message. They understand, Elena breathed. The weight of the moment wasn't lost on anyone present. The next 4 hours were a flurry of increasingly complex exchanges. The alien intelligence began mimicking parts of their transmission, then elaborating with new patterns. The ship's AI worked ceaselessly to interpret the responses. Captain, Maya called, excitement evident in her voice. I think they're inviting us closer. The pattern we're receiving matches navigational coordinates, a trajectory that would bring us within 5,000 kilometers. Elena considered this carefully. Security assessment. No signs of weapons or hostile intent, replied Security Chief Omar Nassar. But that doesn't mean they're not capable of something we can't detect. Noted, Elena said. Helm, take us in slowly. Maintain full shields and be prepared to withdraw at the first sign of trouble. As the Endeavour moved closer, the structure's appearance changed. Sections that had seemed solid began to separate, revealing an interior space large enough to accommodate a vessel many times the size of a standard Earth shuttle. It's opening, whispered someone on the bridge. Captain, Maya called urgently. We're receiving a new transmission. It's different, more complex. On the main view screen, the transmission appeared as a series of visual patterns that slowly resolved into something recognizable, a three-dimensional representation of DNA, followed by images that seemed to depict cellular structures, then increasingly complex biological systems. They're telling us about themselves, Aisha realized, showing us their biology. The images shifted to show beings unlike anything they had imagined, entities composed of crystalline structures interwoven with what appeared to be networks of energy. They moved with fluid grace, their forms shifting and reconfiguring as needed. Remarkable, breathed Marshall. They're silicon-based, not carbon-based like us, and they appear to use some form of crystalline technology that's integrated with their bodies. Elena watched in fascination. Send them information about our biology in return. Let's establish common ground. For the next several hours, the exchange continued, growing more sophisticated as both sides found ways to communicate basic concepts. The alien beings, whom the crew had started calling the Crystallis, seemed especially interested in human diversity and emotional responses. "Captain," Maya said suddenly, "they're requesting. I think they're requesting a direct meeting. They've created an image of their structure and our shuttle approaching it." A hush fell over the bridge. This was the moment. The true first contact that would define humanity's place in a universe they now knew for certain they shared with others. Elena rose from her chair, her decision already made. "Prepare Shuttle Horizon for launch. I'll lead the contact team myself." "Captain," Omar protested. "Protocol states that the ship's commander should not." "Protocol also gives the captain discretion in extraordinary circumstances," Elena interrupted gently. "And nothing in human history has been more extraordinary than this moment." She turned to face her crew. "Dr. Okafor, Dr. Koga, and Lieutenant Rodriguez will accompany me. Commander Wei will assume temporary command of the Endeavor." As the team prepared for departure, Elena felt a profound sense of purpose. 73 years ago, her parents had boarded this ship knowing they would never see Earth again, all to give future generations a chance at a new beginning. Now, that journey had led to something no one could have predicted. Humanity's great voyage between stars had reached its first unexpected milestone. Not just a new world to call home, but contact with another intelligence among the stars. As Elena suited up for the shuttle journey, she couldn't help but feel that this moment justified every sacrifice that had brought them here. The shuttle bay doors opened to the void, and the small craft emerged from the colossal ship, flying toward a rendezvous that would change the course of human history forever. Beyond understanding, the Shuttle Horizon departed from the Endeavor's massive bay, engines humming as it carried Captain Elena Reyes and her team toward the crystalline structure. Inside the cramped vessel, the four humans checked their equipment one final time: environmental suits designed to protect them in unknown conditions, handheld universal translators, and scientific instruments to record every aspect of the historic encounter. "Nervous?" Dr. Aisha Okafor asked, noticing Elena's fingers tapping rhythmically against her thigh. "Terrified," Elena admitted with a small smile. "But ready. My father always said that the greatest moments in human history came when someone was brave enough to step into the unknown." As they approached the alien structure, its true scale became apparent. What had seemed like a single entity from a distance was actually a complex lattice of interconnected crystalline formations, pulsing with internal light that shifted through colors humans had no names for. "Energy readings are off the charts," Marshall reported, eyes fixed on his scanner, "but nothing that appears immediately harmful to human physiology." Maya, monitoring communications, suddenly straightened. "Captain, we're receiving a directional signal. I think they're guiding us to a specific entry point." A section of the crystalline structure parted like liquid, revealing an opening large enough for their shuttle to enter. Elena took a deep breath. "Take us in, Lieutenant." The shuttle glided into an internal chamber that seemed impossibly vast, given the external dimensions of the structure. The walls pulsed with geometric patterns that Maya confirmed matched mathematical sequences they had exchanged earlier. "Space-time manipulation," Aisha whispered in awe. "They've created a pocket dimension within their structure." A flat area in the center of the chamber glowed with increasing intensity, clearly meant as a landing zone. As the shuttle settled, Elena addressed her team one last time. "Remember your training. No sudden movements. Follow first contact protocol. We represent not just the Endeavor, but all of humanity. Let's make a good first impression." The shuttle's external sensors confirmed breathable atmosphere and comfortable temperature. With methodical precision, they opened the hatch and stepped onto the crystalline surface of the chamber floor. The moment Elena's boot touched the floor, the entire chamber responded. Waves of light rippled outward from her footsteps, and the walls began to reconfigure themselves. Crystalline formations flowed down like liquid, solidifying into shapes that approximated human furniture, chairs, and a table of sorts, though with geometric precision no human craftsman could achieve. They'd been studying us more thoroughly than we realized, Aisha remarked. Before anyone could respond, the air before them shimmered. Particles of light coalesced, forming three distinct entities. Each was roughly humanoid in shape, but composed entirely of crystalline structures interwoven with pulsing energy. They had no distinct faces, yet somehow conveyed a sense of attentiveness, their forms oriented toward the human visitors. Alina stepped forward, palms open in the universal gesture of peaceful intent. I am Captain Alina Reyes of the United Nations Starship Endeavour. We come from Earth as explorers and extend greetings on behalf of humanity. The central crystalline being pulsed with light. A soft, harmonic tone filled the chamber, and their translators struggled to process it. After several seconds, a voice emerged, not natural, but not entirely synthetic either. We are the Luminarics. Your journey across void space demonstrates remarkable determination for biological entities. We welcome exchange of knowledge. Valina felt a wave of relief wash over her. Communication was possible. The being continued, its translated voice gaining fluency with each word as their systems adapted to each other. Your vessel contains many biological units, traveling between stars at sublight velocity. Purpose unclear. Explanation requested. We are colonists, Alina explained. We journey to establish a new home in the Epsilon Eridani system, a multi-generational voyage. I was born on our ship, as were many of our people. The three crystalline beings seemed to confer, their structures briefly merging before separating again. The central one pulsed brighter. Concept: generational travel without emergency necessity. Unknown among cataloged sentients, most biological intelligences achieve non-biological consciousness transfer or suspended animation before attempting interstellar journey. Marshall stepped forward cautiously. Are you saying other species typically develop different technologies before space travel? Affirmative. Biological limitations typically prioritize lifespan extension or consciousness transfer. Your approach: accepting biological limitations while engineering social structures to compensate. Unprecedented. The humans exchanged glances, a surge of pride evident in their expressions. Humanity had taken a different path than other species, yet still reached the stars. The discussion continued for hours. The Luminarics explained that they were an ancient species who had evolved beyond biological constraints billions of years ago. They maintained outposts throughout the galaxy, including this one in Epsilon Eridani, studying stellar phenomena and occasionally observing emerging intelligent species. In turn, the humans shared their history, their struggles, and their hopes for the future. The Luminarics seemed particularly fascinated by human art, music, and emotional bonds, concepts they understood academically but experienced differently. Your species creates imaginary scenarios, fiction, and responds emotionally as if real, one Luminarix observed. Purpose unclear. It helps us understand ourselves, Alina explained. Through stories, we explore possibilities and share experiences beyond our own. As their exchange deepened, Aisha's scanner suddenly beeped urgently. She checked the readings, her expression growing concerned. Captain, I'm detecting a massive energy surge throughout the structure. Something's happening. The chamber trembled. The Luminarix beings pulsed rapidly with patterns of light that suggested distress. Danger imminent, the central being announced. Stellar anomaly detected. Radiation front approaching. On their translators, information flowed explaining the situation. A massive solar flare from Epsilon Eridani's star had just erupted, sending a wall of deadly radiation toward both the Luminarix structure and beyond it, the Endeavour. The Luminarix structure could shield itself, but the human ship was vulnerable. We need to warn our ship, Alina said urgently. Can we boost our communication signal through your systems? Negative. Radiation already disrupting transmission capabilities. Alina faced a critical decision. They could remain safely inside the Luminarix structure, but the Endeavour and its 30,000 colonists would be hit by the radiation front within hours, potentially devastating damage to the ship's systems and deadly exposure for its people. "We need to return to our ship immediately," she declared. "Inadvisable," the Luminarix responded. "Your shuttle primitive. Radiation front will damage control systems before reaching your vessel." Marshall stepped forward. "What about your technology? Could you shield our shuttle somehow?" The Luminarix conferred again, then responded. "Possible adaptation exists. However, requires integration of Luminarix crystalline technology with human biological pilot. Never attempted with your species. Significant risk." "I'll do it," Alina said without hesitation. "Captain," Maya began to protest. "It's my responsibility," Alina interrupted firmly. "What do I need to do?" The explanation was complex, but the essence was clear. The Luminarix could create a temporary neural interface between Alina and the shuttle systems, augmented by their crystalline technology. This would allow her to pilot through the radiation front with reflexes and precision beyond normal human capability. "Neural patterns may be permanently altered," the Luminarix warned. "Long-term effects unknown." Elena nodded grimly. 30,000 lives depend on us getting back in time. I accept the risk." The preparation was quick but intense. The Luminarix fashioned a crystalline headpiece that connected to Elena's temples and the base of her skull. As it activated, she gasped, her consciousness expanding to include the shuttle systems, as if they were extensions of her own body. "Good Lord," Aisha whispered, checking her scanner. "Your neural activity is off the charts, Captain." Elena barely heard her. She was simultaneously present in her body and throughout the shuttle, aware of every circuit, every power fluctuation. It was overwhelming yet strangely exhilarating. "We must depart immediately," the Luminarix announced. "Radiation front approaching. Window of opportunity closing." The team boarded quickly, with Elena taking the pilot's seat. As they prepared to launch, the central Luminarix approached their shuttle. "Your species demonstrates unexpected qualities. Adaptation. Sacrifice for collective. These traits, valuable. If you survive, we wish continued exchange." "Count on it," Elena replied, her voice steady despite the alien presence in her mind. The shuttle launched into space, immediately encountering the leading edge of the radiation storm. Through the neural interface, Elena could sense the dangerous particles surrounding them, could feel the shuttle systems struggling against the onslaught. With thought-speed reaction time, she navigated through radiation eddies, finding paths of lesser resistance. "This is impossible," Marshall murmured, watching Elena's hands move across the controls with inhuman precision. No human pilot could navigate this. Behind them, the Luminarix structure had encased itself in a protective field. Ahead, the Endeavour waited, still unaware of the approaching danger. "Communications are still down," Maya reported. "We can't warn them." "We need a visual signal," Elena said, her voice strangely harmonic with the interface affecting her vocal cords. "Something they can't miss." Through the neural link, she diverted power from life support to the shuttle's external lights, creating a pulsing pattern that matched the Endeavour's emergency protocol for stellar events. Will they recognize it in time? Aisha wondered. Elena's confidence never wavered. "Commander Wei is thorough. He'll have kept regular scans on us. He'll see it." Her faith proved well-founded. As they approached, the Endeavour's massive radiation shields began deploying, massive panels extending from the ship's hull to create a protective umbrella. They had seen the warning. The shuttle landed roughly in the bay, systems failing as the last of the crystalline technology's protection faded. Elena collapsed as the neural interface overloaded, but remained conscious long enough to confirm the Endeavour was executing emergency protocols. 3 days later, Elena awoke in the medical bay. The radiation front had passed, and the ship had sustained only minimal damage thanks to their timely warning. Dr. Mehta sat beside her bed, studying her with fascination. "How do you feel, Captain?" Elena considered the question carefully. different. Like my mind has been expanded somehow. She could still feel echoes of the interface, a heightened awareness of the ship's systems around her. The crystalline technology appears to have permanently altered your neural pathways, Sanjay explained, but not in a harmful way. Quite the opposite. Your cognitive processing has accelerated. You're integrating information faster than any human on record. Elena nodded, not entirely surprised. A gift from the Luminarix, though perhaps an unintended one. Commander Y entered, his usually stoic face breaking into a rare smile. "Captain, good to have you back." "Status report," Elena asked, instantly back to business. "The ship is secure. All systems functional. And," he hesitated, "the Luminarix structure is approaching. They're requesting to continue the dialogue." Elena smiled. "Of course they are. Humanity just did something unprecedented again." In the following weeks, the relationship between the Endeavour colonists and the Luminarix deepened. The ancient crystalline beings offered insights that advanced human technology by decades, particularly in energy manipulation and space-time dynamics. In exchange, the humans shared their art, music, and unique perspective on existence, gifts the Luminarix valued for their novelty. The neural changes in Elena proved beneficial, allowing her to serve as a direct interface between human and Luminarix knowledge systems. More importantly, her willingness to risk herself had earned humanity something precious in the galactic community: respect. 6 months later, as the Endeavour continued its journey to the habitable planet they had identified in the Epsilon Eridani system, Elena stood again on the observation deck. A smaller Luminarix vessel traveled alongside them now. A diplomatic exchange that would ensure humanity's new colony began with advantages no earthbound human could have imagined. "Was it worth it?" Sanjay asked, joining her at the viewport. "The risk you took." Elena watched the stars streak by, feeling both their ship systems and the Luminarix vessel's energy signature in a way no other human could. "My parents left Earth knowing they would never see it again. They accepted that sacrifice for the sake of something greater." She turned to face him, her eyes reflecting starlight. "Turns out, that's not just a human trait. It's what the universe respects. We may be young among the stars, Sanjay, but we've earned our place among them." Beyond the viewport, the Luminarix vessel pulsed in agreement, its crystalline structure refracting light in patterns that seemed, to human eyes, almost like applause.